hear what they're saying, and maybe we'll pause and talk during this. Colbert.
I think we can all agree, guys. Now,
yeah, he's a rebel.
Lying. We saw it. And that's how brazen they lie when they know we've seen the truth. That's how they lie when they know we know. Imagine how they lie when there's no evidence to contradict them.
Right.
If our leaders are intentionally creating and encouraging violence and fear, then I hope you will also agree we need new leaders, because these are not leaders. And to the people of Minneapolis, to the Preddy family and the Good family, and these people who were looking out for their neighbors, we want you to know that we are with you and you are not alone.
Stop whining.
And I'll tell you another thing. We also want to see those Epstein files already.
Shut up. Shut up. Oh, God, the crying. What a Jimmy Kimmel. If anyone would have said that guy from the Man Show is going to be a crying liberal mouthpiece weeping for illegal aliens. And oh my God, it's pathetic. Pathetic. And Jon Stewart, that was some pretty hardcore projection, wasn't it? They lie right to your face. Yeah. Imagine the lies they're telling when the evidence isn't right there. Yeah, imagine. Just imagine. We went through 4 years of it with Joe Biden, where everyone knew it was right in front of our face on almost a daily basis that he had fucking dementia. He had dementia. And they paraded him around. And when people said he had dementia, because we see it, they'd go, oh, stop. What are you, a doctor? Oh, now you could diagnose the dementia. He's sharp as a tack. He's the quickest guy in the room. And he's himself and tripping over things. He can't remember anything. He's walking off the podium when they're still asking him questions. You mean like that? You mean like that? That evidence that's right in front of our face that they fucking lied about? And then after the debate debacle, where it was now impossible to lie anymore about this guy's lack of mental acuity, they all started coming out of the woodwork, writing books, making statements. George Clooney comes out and says, hey, he should have resigned, or he should have dropped out of the election race sooner so Kamala would have had a better chance. And they're saying, oh, yeah, we knew. There were good days and bad days and this. They lied with the evidence right there in front of you. Yeah, just like Jon Stewart said. So projecting, they do that a lot. And, I won't go through it again, but the evidence that we saw with the Alex Preddy shooting, many different angles, slow motion, all that, it leads to the conclusion, at least my conclusion, and I think anyone that thinks rationally, that the ICE agents were mistaken. They thought he was shooting, but they had damn good reason to believe that this guy was firing on them. And they reacted appropriately to that threat. And that's really the whole case. So, we saw the evidence. Lies, though? Yeah, if someone's saying he's a terrorist, that's taking it a little far. But the truth of the matter is, this guy was no mild-mannered nurse. He wasn't some innocent young man who just was helping an old lady across the street when ICE opened up on him. That's a lie. This guy is an agitator. Stories are coming out about him now. A couple of weeks ago, he was injured fighting ICE. He supposedly broke a rib when they had to take him down because, again, he was interfering with their legal operations as federal law enforcement. And a nurse, his parents said he hasn't been a nurse for a while. And the reports that are coming in are that he was fired because the staff at the hospital said he was acting weird. And his parents said he had gotten involved in this thing, this organization where they go out and protest. Meanwhile, the protests are agitating, interfering, undermining the actions of federal law enforcement. And he was armed doing it. And there's a lot of people throwing that around. Well, he had a legal gun. He's legally able to carry a gun concealed, and that's what he was doing. And he was shot because, where are you, Second Amendment people? And just because you have the right to carry a gun and you carry a gun does not make you impervious to being shot because you have that gun. It's not an instant, you can never get shot. You legally have a gun. Ridiculous. Again, it's a way to shirk your responsibility that you have to have when you own a firearm. So to just say, oh, well, where are the Second Amendment people? Where are the gun rights people? He was gunned down because he had a gun. No, he wasn't. He was not gunned down because he had a gun on him. He was gunned down because he decided to get into a fray with federal law enforcement. And he had a gun on him during an altercation with the police. That could get you killed. That could get you killed without any mistakes being made, as far as an inadvertent shot being fired right after law enforcement said gun, and then they open up on this guy. Even without that chain of events, the tragic chain of events that happened, if you are going out with the purpose of instigating trouble and getting in the way of federal law enforcement, and you have a gun on you, you've just increased your chances of getting killed in that instance. So while he was legally allowed to carry a gun, his actions while he was carrying that gun, not too smart. Not too smart at all. I can carry a gun into a bank. I could do that, do my banking and leave, and everything's fine. If somehow a guard sees my gun, he might want to come over and ask questions about it. That's for sure. If I instigate a fight with the bank guard, he might assume I want to do something illegal in the bank. And then if he sees I have a gun, they're going to, put two and two together and maybe come out with the wrong conclusion. I might just think this looks like the guy that was f***ing my wife. So again, everything has its chain of events. Just because you have a gun on you a legal gun on you, doesn't all of a sudden make you a saint or somebody that isn't doing something wrong by having a gun on them. Yeah, I'm an absolutist as far as the Second Amendment goes. And with that unbelievable responsibility and common fucking sense, just common sense about what you're doing when you have that gun on you and fighting federal law enforcement in a riot zone, that's not smart. And you have to bear a lot of the responsibility for what happens to you if you make a decision that stupid that you go into these zones of operation for ICE to start trouble, to interfere with their work with a gun on you, knowing that they have guns and they will use them. So for Jon Stewart saying we saw it right there in front of us and they're lying. No, some people are lying. A lot of people are lying on the left. Some people are lying or just stupid on the right. But what happened is what happened, and that's what we saw in the video. And it doesn't resemble the left's narrative of murderous bands of masked ICE agents going around indiscriminately gunning down peaceful protesters. That's what they're saying. A lot of them, too. Not just the fringe. A lot of them believe that, as does Jon Stewart. He said, look, there it is. The evidence is right there. Whoopi Goldberg, he was murdered, outright murdered. They believe that because they'd rather have their dumb emotions dictate every thought they have and let the propaganda that they hear and the propaganda that they are obligated to put out themselves because they're celebrities. So they throw it out there and dummies eat it up. And look, if Jon Stewart meant what he said, yeah, look at the evidence, assess it, and come up with a conclusion that makes sense. If you think ICE is going around just shooting people, like Whoopi said, with a phone in one hand and a bottle of water in the other, if you think that, you're or you're purposefully trying to lie, to put an agenda forward. No. It was a chain of events that happened in an unbelievably short amount of time. And the people involved reacted in a normal way that they would react to hearing that the perpetrator has a gun and then hearing a shot being fired. That's it. Murderous bands of... icy cold Topo Chico. They ought to be sponsors on the show, I think. And Stephen Colbert just, guys, woo, and everyone goes crazy, and they're clapping. By the way, May 1st, I think, is the last day that was announced today. The last day of the Late Show with Stephen Colbert. May 1st, he's gonzo. They said this is an economic decision. And yeah, it's an economic decision. No money's coming in. They're spending millions upon millions of dollars on this show, and they're getting nothing in return. No one's watching this. The sponsors for the show aren't going to pay premium dollar when people are just watching 1-minute clips on the internet. They're not sitting through their commercials waiting for Colbert to come back with J-Lo. No one cares. So, and I think this is pretty much the opening bell for them throwing out all these late night talk show hosts. So I don't know, but let us never forget Colbert when he's getting applause and guys, and he's such a rebel. Isn't he such a rebel? Trump. Wow. That's a guy I'd want on my side because he's going to look at authority and he's going to say, F you. I'm not going to be your pawn. I'm not going to tell people that they need to do things because the government says so, man. Let's never forget this. a truth to power guy. What a rebellious ICE. A song and dance number with syringes as a propaganda tool to get people to get a vaccine that God knows how many people have died from. But there he is dancing. Just a shill for the government. Bon voyage, you dickbag, Stephen Colbert. Good riddance. Can't get rid of him fast enough. Guys. What's ICE doing? Cleaning up the mess Joe Biden made, or the people running Joe Biden's administration made. That's what they're doing. A real noble job for this country. Cleaning up the mess of illegals that streamed into this country over the course of years to the tune of millions. And them, but let's do a little dance number, a little song and dance number to have people put some fucking poison in their body. Government sanctioned poison. Wow, so brave. Ah, God, I'm disgusted. Stephen Colbert. Anyway, we continue. Hollywood celebrities, they just can't keep their mouths shut about anything. They know everything. They've been given the script. Let's be honest. We all know that. They all get the same talking points, the same you hear from Jessica Tarloff on Fox or any of the, other news stations that aren't news. And Hollywood just can't keep their faces off of a camera. They love it. So here's a Natalie Portman, and she's going to cry too, just like Jimmy Kimmel.
Sorry, I'm getting so emotional because it's really been, it's such a horrible day. It's been a horrible week. And it's very joyful to be at a film festival and in a creative community celebrating film together. But what is happening in our country is just obscene, and what Trump and Kristi Noem and ICE are doing to our citizens is and to undocumented people is outrageous.
Undocumented
and needs to end. And I'm very moved by all of the people coming out and supporting each other in community and showing the best of America, really being like incredible neighbors and citizens. But it's just too much. It needs to end.
Yeah. From the red carpet at Cannes Film Festival, the lights, the paparazzi, the glitterati, the celebrities. From the red carpet, she's there talking about undocumented people. Try to walk up to her. Give it a try if you're there. If you're watching from the fences and barriers and security that they put up to protect these, try walking up. Hey, how you doing? Natalie Portman, I love your work. Could I get a hug? Can we get a picture? You'd be beaten down so fast and arrested because you don't belong there. You see? You don't belong on that red carpet amongst those people. They're better than you. But when we as Americans try to get illegals out of our country, they start crying as they're standing on ground that none of us would be allowed to get 50 yards from. That's how important they are. That's how worthless you are. The hypocrisy, the balls on these fucking celebrities. I don't know what film she's there promoting. Years ago, red carpet, a film festival, whichever one it is, Tribeca, Cannes Film Festival. There's plenty of festivals. You'd hear the interview and go, oh, what movie is, oh, that sounds good. Oh, who's the co-star? Who's the director? Oh, wow, I like that director's work. Now you don't even know what film. You don't care because all they do is stand there and pontificate and tell you how you're supposed to think and feel. If you want illegals removed from this country, illegals that were brought in under an administration that bitch and her ilk couldn't say enough about, couldn't defend when he was obviously in the throes of dementia, couldn't defend him strongly enough. And we're just supposed to believe them. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Trump bad. ICE bad. Because Natalie Portman said so. Yeah. Natalie Portman. Well, she's not alone in the Hollywood circles. We have, where is he? Oh, come on. I know I put this in there. Oh, my God. Did I lose it like my glasses? There he is, Ethan Hawke. Ethan Hawke, another one. He's at the same festival. Does he have a film out? Who knows? Who cares? He's going to tell you how troublesome it is to live in America now because it's so dangerous with ICE agents running around executing American citizens. Here's one thing you don't see. You see a lot of tears. A lot of tears here. Never any tears for the innocent, truly innocent people that are murdered, slaughtered, raped by illegals, illegal criminals in this country. Where's the tears? I don't remember seeing Jimmy Kimmel welling up about young children being raped and murdered by illegal aliens. Nothing. They never mention them. Not one tear shed for all those people. But, you know, the undocumented people, undocumented citizens. And they think everyone that's streamed across here is going to make America so much better through their diversity. They're just wonderful people that want a better life. They tried so hard in their country, but the country was so oppressive and didn't have the resources for them to utilize their amazing intellect and ingenuity. So they came here, and now that's going to be unleashed, and we are going to get amazing things out of them. Or were they emptying their prisons and mental institutions and shoving them all north across our border to rape and pillage and murder our people here? What makes more sense? What makes more sense? So here's Ethan Hawke, and he'll let you know how great he is, how awful you are, and how this guy, who again is sitting somewhere you wouldn't be able to get near, you wouldn't be able to see him. They're so far away and secured in this location. But he's going to tell you how unsafe he feels.
I've never been afraid to speak publicly. And I feel like it's not that I'm afraid, but we're weary. The environment is so corrosive and free speech is so inhibited, and the power.
Could you pause right there? He's speaking freely. nothing is going to happen to him. As a matter of fact, he'll probably get more jobs in Hollywood because of what he's saying. That seems to be the way it works over there. You toe the line, you spout the nonsense that their agenda says you're supposed to spout, and look at you, you're at a film festival making movies, and you're in front of the paparazzi. And how does this guy not feel safe? You know who doesn't feel safe? The women and kids and men that are being murdered by illegal aliens. How about that? How about those people? Not Renee Good with her SUV pointing it at police officers. Not Alex Pretty, who's getting into physical altercations with cops while he's armed. Those people, maybe. Hey, Ethan, you're going to grab a gun and go fight with federal agents? Hey, Ethan, you're going to hop in an SUV and drive it towards some cops? Then maybe you could have a legitimate fear for your life. If you're going to be on a red carpet at a film festival pontificating the dangers of being in America in 2026, you could go mother. But there they are. This is Hollywood. These are the celebrities. These are the liberals, the Democrats. They know nothing of reality, of the real going on. And then they spout the that they're handed, the script that they're handed. And we're supposed to, oh, I liked the movie he was in. Let me believe everything he says. Piss off. Yeah.
Fear in the air. I've never witnessed it, and it feels really wrong.
No, weird.
I had this thing. I was 30 years old, and I watched one of my favorite actors, Warren Beatty, win the Kennedy Center honor, and George W. Bush gave it to him. Nobody was more vocal campaigning against George W. Bush than Warren Beatty. And Warren Beatty goes and accepts the prize, and George Bush gives it to him. And I remember I was 30 years old, and I thought, I'm an artist in a free country. And I felt so grateful. I was like, wow, this is a free country.
Free country, yeah.
And I don't feel that. And what's going on in Minneapolis is an extension of that. It's obviously violent. It's obviously wrong. I'm scared to talk about it because I don't want to push anybody away. I want to invite what's best in America to come out and invite it in because I know we're better than this.
I like his little story, though. Warren Beatty is getting a Kennedy Center award from George W. Bush, who was obviously a Republican. A lot of policies that the left hated. I mean, there were protests against George W. Bush. Remember? No war for oil. They had his effigies dressed like Hitler, him and Cheney. We saw this. We saw this. But Ethan Hawke says he didn't feel like the country was in danger. There didn't seem to be this fear, this anger. Why? Because they loved George W. Bush? Because Bush's policies were any better as far as the liberal Democrats are concerned than Donald Trump's are? Or because the liberals have gone absolutely when they don't agree with policy or anything? Maybe you should look at that as to why it's so crazy now and you feel like there's an imminent danger in being an American, and our democracy seems to be in danger. And what's the difference? Is it such a big difference between George W. Bush and Donald Trump and their ideology and policy and agendas and administration? Or is it that liberals weren't quite as crazy then, and they were pretty nuts then, as they are now? And as violent as they are now, willing to go out there and not obey law enforcement and interfere with them. That seems to be the common factor here. Why would it be different now? Oh, I felt like we were Americans. There's Warren Beatty. He doesn't like George W. Bush. He campaigned against him. But he's getting an honor by George W. Bush, and they're not yelling at each other, and he's accepting it, and George W. Bush is giving him the award, and think of one celebrity that would even allow Donald Trump to get anywhere near them these days. Now, Trump might not want to give him an award, or he might. Who knows? But the anger and hatred and violence toward Donald Trump now would make that impossible. And who's a little different now than they were back then? A conservative Republican politician or the liberal left? The loony liberal left. So, yeah, you bring up a great point, but it sure isn't what you thought it was going to be or wanted to present it to be. So, if you enjoyed that clip,
then subscribe to Compound Censored using this promo code.